Dicey would then say that he looks at administrative law, he says that administrative law as such, as has been defined by Munro earlier, which is giving some kind of discretion in the hands of officers, and it also says that the officers are protected also by these laws and protected by special laws. Officers are protected by special laws, and officers are not only protected by special laws. If you have to challenge the officers, not only that they have special powers, but they will be challenged in special courts also. They cannot be challenged in the ordinary courts. And these laws, these special laws, when they are applied to the officers, giving them the discretion or giving them certain rights to protect themselves, or that they be tried in special courts, these laws have been called as administrative law. Okay? And in the French system, these laws which give special power to the officer to be tried under special laws and special courts is what is called as droit administratif. And Dicey says that we do not have this in our country, because in our country, or everyone, whether it is officials or whether it is unofficial, all classes of people are tried under the same ordinary law. So everyone is subject to same law, and this is what he calls as rule of law, to be there in Britain, right. So rule of law means what? Law is supreme, and which law is supreme? The ordinary law of the landowner, the ordinary law which is made by the parliament. That ordinary law is supreme, whether it is a normal citizen or it is an official, everyone is equal in front of that rule of law. You see, the very value behind rule of law is something where we say that rule of law means that no authority will have arbitrary powers, right. Everyone, we say rule of law means no rule of persons, because arbitrary powers or discretionary powers means that when the power comes to an individual, there becomes a rule of persons. And rule of law says that everyone is equal before the law, and the law has the supremacy. So, there is supremacy of law and there is equality before law, because everyone is equal under the law. And when we are talking about equality here, Dicey, when he explains the concept of rule of law, he explained in the context of officials and non-officials, everyone is equal under the law. This is the primary explanation. Then later on you can say it among the citizen also, it is applied to everyone equally, that is secondary. Have you got the point? And this is how he differentiates. He says that in Britain there is no administrative law. Where administrative law is? Administrative law is there in France, according to Dicey. The law which gives special powers to the officers, special powers to be tried in a different way, protected by special laws. But this is not there in Britain. In Britain, what is there? A rule of law. So the basic principle in case of England will be rule of law. In case of France would be droit administratif, which Dicey calls as administrative law. He says he sees droit administratif, those laws itself as administrative law, and then he says these laws are not there in Britain. So Britain does not have administrative law. What Britain has then? Rule of law. Clear? Let's. So you can see that administrative law also, I can put in three different circles, three different concepts of administrative law, or you say broadly speaking, you can say administrative law in the broadest sense will be what? In the broadest sense, law or the component of law which is related to public administration, right. So whatever component, that means in this case even some statutory laws components will also be included. Second one will be what we say, this is basically mostly related to only the administrative law, like rules and regulations, which are rules and regulations which are related to what? Power, authority, responsibility, functions, right, of public officials. And when you say power, authority, obviously it is talking about discretion which they are enjoying. So this mostly will be the law made by executive, the way we had understood administrative law earlier. law made by executive. Statutory component will not be included in this. Okay, and then the third one will be is very specific idea of administrative law, very specific. In very specific terms, it is related to discretion and also some kind of protection which has been given to the public officials. In fact, you know, when we are studying administrative law in public administration, this is the most important issue which we are dealing with here. We are not going to discuss the power, authority, responsibility of all the officers here. We are more interested in looking into discretion, how they are protected. That is the issue to be discussed.